Yo, what's up today, guys? It's Mason back for that yearly interview. Today I'm interviewing Emma Woodhouse. Let's see how she's doing. How are you?
I'm great today. How are you? I was curious as to why you picked my book to interview me for.
Good. I'm doing great. Glad to hear that we're both doing amazing. So basically, I picked your book because my school requires me to read 3 books every summer and do a project over one. And your story is pretty straightforward, so, I basically just was like, hey, this Emma girl, she knows what's up. And so I decided to interview you. It's as simple as that.
Why, thank you.
Let's get right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself, because not everyone's aware of who you are and where you're from. Just give us the basic details of you.
Well, everyone should know who I am. My name is Emma. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Highbury. And that just about sums up me.
By the way, you forgot that your last name is Woodhouse, and you make it very clear that you believe that you're an excellent matchmaker. What qualifies you to be a matchmaker?
Oh, I see that you actually read the book. Thank you. I'm actually highly qualified. I hooked up our town governess and Mr. Weston. So at this point, I think I could basically find anyone's soulmate. But me, I'm never getting married, okay? Like, that is just not happening at all. Never.
Alright, that's fair. Even though I hooked up 2 of my friends, and they even got married, but they got divorced 2 weeks later, actually. But they had only known each other for a month, so it kind of makes sense, actually. But tell us about your new friend, Harriet Smith. She's not married either, so who do you want her to get married to, or who did you want her to get married to at the time? And then tell us a little bit about y'all's friendship.
Oh my gosh, Harriet is like my best friend in the whole wide entire world. So, I think she should get married to Mr. Elton because he's a pretty good guy. He's got a lot of cash, if you know what I mean, like them dollar bills. But this other guy, oh gosh, Robert Martin asked her to marry him. Can you believe that? That he had the nerve to ask her to marry him. I told her to reject it, but I can tell she has feelings for him. If you read the story, you know that she has feelings for him, because she does. But I told her not to marry him, so yeah.
Yep, I remember reading it exactly like that. But didn't your plan go south with, with the whole marriage deal between Harriet and Mr. Elton?
Yeah, it all went really bad, so Harriet ended up actually really liking Mr. Elton, and then Mr. Elton said he liked me, not her. Can you even believe that? That is so horrible, because I'm never getting married, and he wanted me to marry him and not Harriet.
Well, Emma, your brother-in-law, Mr. Knightley, thinks that Harriet and Mr. Martin would be the perfect matchup, but you didn't seem to think so. So, at this point, when I was reading your story, I started to question, I was questioning your ability as a matchmaker.
Well, I'm not perfect, okay? But then, the worst thing ever happened, as you know. So, Mr. Elton got so mad when I said that Harriet was equal to me. Like, that he should marry her. He got so mad that he left town and went and married another girl. Oh my gosh, can you believe that even happened? I had to take care of Harriet's poor little old broken heart for like 2 weeks. She was absolutely destroyed. It was horrible.
That's just real unfortunate right there. They come and go, though. It's fine. So, later on in the story, after, I'm assuming Harriet recovered alright, a new guy comes onto the scene. Tell us a little bit about the new guy, and And tell us why your brother-in-law, Mr. Knightley, was so cautious about the kid and why he didn't trust him at all.
Oh my gosh. You are talking about Frank Churchill. Ooh, yeah. My brother-in-law, he really did not trust the guy. He was super sketchy, but for some reason at the time, I just did not see it. Like, I always see the good in people personally, and I guess that's just something my brother-in-law doesn't see is the good in people. But it turns out he was right. He's kind of right in a way. So I'm not mad at him anymore, and I think Harriet's fine with it too now. So yeah.
Alright, Emma, let's get some big facts up in here, right now. Here's the tea. So, you started flirting with the new guy while you were playing matchmaker, and while you were trying to get Harriet to like the new guy. That is messed up, girl.
I can't believe you just said that. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to look out for me too. So I was flirting with him a little bit, but I didn't even mention him to Harriet until I decided that he was not the right guy for me, okay? Don't get it twisted. I didn't do anything wrong in that situation. And so I started to hook Harriet and him up, even though he was really sketchy and is probably a bad friend to me.
A little bit later on, there's the town ball. You and Harriet show up. You, of course, being your socially awkward self. You didn't want to dance with anyone. But your brother-in-law, Mr. Knightley, he actually offered to dance with Harriet. That was really nice of the guy. So, from here on, what happens to Harriet and you as well? Because we all know, well, not all of us, but I know, and you know, how this story unfolds right here, right now, starting with the ball.
Yeah, that was so nice of him. My brother-in-law, he is just always looking out for me. Like, he knew that would make her very happy by dancing with him. And I think that's what helped her recover a lot. Like, that built her confidence way back up to here. And so, later on, I started flirting with Frank. And I felt really bad later because after we went to a picnic a few days later, and we found out that Frank and Jane had been secretly engaged. And Jane, she was that girl that was always going with Frank to the parties. It looked very innocent. But then it turns out that they were engaged. I could not believe it. I've never felt so bad. It made me never want to flirt with a guy again. I just wanted to, like, just choke him to death. Because he, like, basically lied to me and let me flirt with him while he was engaged.
Gotta love that laugh, though. So, later on, Frank and Jane are planning on getting married after his uncle's funeral. And Harriet, she was legitimately concerned that it was going to crush you. But I just didn't think that it would matter to you that much because you're never set on getting married. So I don't even know why you were flirting with Frank in the first place. But you ended up being alright. But what happened after this? I'm curious.
Well, it's not my fault. Like, what? He always flirted with me anyway. Frank, he was a very elegant man. Jane happened to be a very lucky woman, I guess. Like, it doesn't matter though, because later on, me and Harriet, we were having this talk, you know, and it was one of those chit chats about Mr. Knightley, and she was convinced. Like, Harriet, this girl was convinced that Mr. Knightley, my brother-in-law, he's my brother-in-law, that he was, like, actually into her, which he was obviously into me. And then I really thought, like, deep down that she was gonna end up being with Mr. Knightley. But he ended up telling me that he loves me. Can you believe that? And so we've been married now for a long little while, but things have been going good. Later on, Harriet accepted another proposal from the same guy.
Oh, dude, that is nasty. What is this, Alabama? He was your brother-in-law. Oh, that is messed up, man. So, Harriet ends up with with Robert Martin. So that's pretty good. But you end up with your brother-in-law. That's kind of disgusting. That's Alabama though. Kissing your cousin, it's fine. No. So the story ends with everyone being happy. Apparently, you seem very happy, and we obviously don't have Harriet here to ask. But how is she doing?
Yeah, it had a really good ending. I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to make this into a story. This should be a story. I was like, this would be such a good story for everyone. Actually, me and my husband, we've been planning lately. We're thinking 7 or 8 kids, and they probably won't get married either. But we're married, just so you know. Yeah, I know I said I would never get married, but it just happens, you know? Like, I never thought it would happen. And then I was like, oh my gosh, it actually happened.
Hey, all's well ends well. Hey, maybe your kids one day, though, maybe they won't get married to their brother-in-law. That would be a very nice scenario. So let's have a recap. When you first met, I always knew that your brother-in-law, he was your close friend. And this changed the story majorly at the end. It made complete sense as to why he was always helping you and always giving you good advice. Did you ever even consider him as husband material?
Oh yes, our children, they're gonna be great. Oh my gosh, they're gonna get all these looks, like their father's charm. I think my kids will be great, but at the start, I never would have saw him as my husband. Like, oh my gosh. Because when we were kids, we even knew each other, and he was so weird. Like, he was so weird. He used to look at me, and then he would wink, you know, he'd do, like, the wink thing. And I always thought it was so funny. I was like, and then he always would laugh back, and he's like, and so it was funny. It was funny how we actually ended up together.
Good to know, good to know. It's a happy story after all, I guess. What would you say if I told you I didn't think that your brother-in-law was the right man for you? Oh yeah, I just took it there.
You know what I would say, Mason? To you saying that he shouldn't be my husband? Emma, I'm gonna rip out your blood air. He's twice the man you'll ever be.
Oh, yo, Rick, get her out of here, dude. She's a nut job. Oh gosh. Alright, guys, Emma girl, she's insane. I just got done interviewing her. She about tore my throat out. I'm filing charges. I'm suing her brother-in-law husband. I'm pretty much done with the whole interviewing thing till next year. Everybody have a nice day. Joe James, tell the boss man I'm done. I'm out of here. Woo! Yo, Rick, get her out of here. Oh, dude, that girl's a nut job. She messed up my whole studio. My chair. Oh, guys, I just interviewed that Emma chick. She's insane. Oh, my table's gone. She assaulted me. She messed up my dignity. I've never lost a fight to a woman that bad. Out of the 4 times I fought a woman, I'm suing her brother-in-law husband, her like 10 kids. I'm probably done with the whole interview thing till next year. Everybody have a good day. Yo, James, tell the boss man I'm done. I'm out of here.